You want me to call an ambulance?
What?
You want an ambulance?
Yes, call an ambulance.
Take the phone, Jake.
Start filming.
I'm worried about you, brother.
I don't care. Film. Start filming, please.
I'm calling. Hold on. Motorcycle just crashed. I'm on 480. I'm like right before where it splits to 480 and 71. Okay, it knows where I'm at. Hi, there's a motorcycle that just crashed. I'm on, I think the phone will say I'm on 480, like right before. Oh, she's a nurse, good. Yeah, we're going towards Cleveland.
Did you see what happened?
No, I did not.
We're on 480, right before where it splits to 271, or sorry, 71. Yeah, he's awake, he's just laying in the grass. He's talking and stuff. I don't know. He was behind me. I just saw him crash in my mirror. Thank you so much, by the way, for stopping.
I was like, okay, saw one person with 2 bikes.
Do you want us to help you move your bike off the road or something?
I would just leave that for insurance.
Hey, when I give this back, we can go over and just get it off.
Okay, cool. It's probably total.
Probably, brother.
Probably.
You guys have problems?
Oof, dude. I just want to take
Sure, his adrenaline is running. He's having a hard time.
And what you guys saw, I never intentionally meant to share. To be quite frank with you, it's a little embarrassing. To my friends and family that I've shared that clip with, it's almost always the reaction is laughter. Mostly at like the situation, and it's almost comical. And it's low-key like Jack Doherty coded, because around that time, he posted a video of his car crash. He crashed like a McLaren or something into a wall because he was driving recklessly. And his buddy, his filmer, his videographer got really messed up in the accident. And so he's bloody down the face. And yet the dude still asked him to film him and his whole car crash. I'm like, that's crazy. My situation's a little bit different in the sense that I was the only one who crashed. I'm the only one who got hurt. But yeah, it's still not a great look that I'm reaching into my pocket, grabbing my phone with a broken foot and covered in road rash, throwing it at my friend, and then yelling at him to continue to film. Not a great thing. Do I think I'll ever do something like that again? Probably not, and I'm going to get into that. Clearly, my brain was a little melted and cooked from social media at the time. That entire summer, I had been secretly hurting, and I took it out on myself and the action of trying to film as much as possible, which, I mean, in the winter ended up being a good decision because I have plenty of content for the winter. But now that I'm sitting here in California, I'm realizing how pointless all of that was. I didn't have to film and grind as much as I did, and it literally rotted my brain out of my head to the point that, I mean, like, oh God. Earlier this summer, I had witnessed another motorcycle accident with the friend that was also involved in my own personal motorcycle accident. I witnessed my friend Bryan get sideswiped by a truck, which to me looked like on purpose, and I still stand by that to this day. He was hit, luckily not off his motorcycle, but he almost lost his pinky if it wasn't for the fact that he had gloves like this, which is why I still wear gloves to this day that have that connection to the pinky. But witnessing that accident earlier in the summer, him being a part of that accident and then witnessing me crash, I can't even imagine how it made him feel sitting there. I'm laying on the ground in arguably worse condition than he was, and yet I'm still yelling at him. I'm yelling at him to record me. I hope you guys realize, like, that's not a good thing. I should not have done that. I'm realizing this. I realized this a while ago, which is why I never share this part of the clip, but I think it's important in my journey to accountability that I realize that. Not only realize that, but also recognize it, accept it, and so I don't do that again. I can tell you the only thing that was going through my mind at the time is the fact that I didn't have the accident on video. I knew I turned off my camera before getting on the highway, and so while I was laying there on the ground, the first thought that occurred to me was, oh, I didn't have that on video. I should start recording. Because again, melted content brain, you know? Not a great look, not a great thing to do. At the time, I thought it would be a good idea to have that because I wanted people to see my mistakes and not make them. Like, oh, wear your gear. Ignore this. Wear your gear. Don't, ride stupid. Obviously, even though I wasn't riding stupid at the time, it's still like, it's a good reminder that, oh, an accident sucks. You don't want to put yourself in more risk. But in hindsight, all of the, recording the accident in that moment was completely unnecessary because all of this I could just talk about after the fact. I didn't have to record the accident live on video to talk about how accidents are bad. It's stupid thinking about this stuff in hindsight, but that was my mentality at the time. So the reason I'm sharing this with you now is just that. I want to hold myself better accountable for that really stupid action that I did. And this is also kind of a sort of informal apology to Bryan because he had to go through that. He had to, you can obviously hear in that video, he's distressed. He didn't want to witness what he just witnessed, even though he had to deal with that in that situation. And he especially didn't want to hear me yelling at him after I just crashed. That's stupid. It's so stupid. Now, I hate using the Jack Doherty comparison. Posting somebody else's pain and suffering that you caused, way worse. Please don't get that twisted. This was my own not self-inflicted, but this was my own pain that I then posted, but still, it was not my content that I filmed. It was technically my friend's content, and I should not have made him record me while I'm laying in the ground because it's traumatic for him as well. I remember witnessing my friend's accident when he was hit by a car. That was extremely traumatic for me. I had a lot of problems riding after that, and it took me coming to California to ride a little 300 around to get used to riding again after witnessing that. And I can't even imagine how it made him feel. So, not really inherently a good lesson here. I'm not saying, don't ever post your accident. I think you also just need to realize that, the people surrounding you in your own accident, I get, it's your accident, you'd think that you get rights, but, you also have to have a little bit of empathy for the people that are also technically, while not involved in your accident, witnessed it. How that's going to affect them going forward into the future. That is absolutely something that you need to consider. Now, after my accident, this is where we're going to get into something that maybe I don't necessarily know how to talk about, and I'm not terribly well equipped to talk about this kind of stuff, and I don't really know how to approach this, but basically I had a really bad psychoactive episode. I think mainly caused by the medication that I was given by the doctors, the pain medication that I was given. I'm not going to give out the specific name because I'm not trying to advertise anything here. Also, guidelines, I'm not sure entirely how that works, but I think a lot of you can probably figure out pain medication is schedulally controlled by the government, and I was only given access to this medication prescribed by a doctor, and this is my disclaimer. This is just my full medical review and documentation and journal of my experience with this doctor-given prescribed medication. Ooh, man, that pipe is getting a little warm there. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I have a really good medical background. My mom is a nurse, and I was taught about a lot of things about the medical industry. And unfortunately, while the medical industry does a lot of good in American society, there are a lot of things that doctors are subtly paid to push. And there's a big crisis in America called the opioid crisis. It's kind of still currently ongoing, I believe. Anyway, it's a highly addictive substance that a lot of Americans get attached to because they end up in situations like mine where they need it, they are medically prescribed it, and then seek it out after the fact. Now, I'm very fortunate in the sense that I did not have a good experience on this substance whatsoever. In fact, it was so bad, I'm going to get into this here in a minute, but I never want to touch this stuff ever again. I don't care if I get in another motorcycle accident and I'm in even worse pain, I never want to touch it again with a freaking 10-foot pole. Whoop. So the prescribed function of the substance that I was given is it's supposed to alleviate pain. Now, my experience with this was it didn't necessarily alleviate pain, it just made it more manageable. It more or less, you ever see the movie Get Out, where the characters go to the sunken place? That's what it felt like. It felt like the pain didn't really go anywhere. It just more or less moved to a more manageable place where you could more easily ignore it. While this made it easier to manage, and I would much prefer that over dealing with it on my own, I still don't think that it was worth the trade-offs, which I can get into here. So the first night I took this stuff, nothing really happened. I was totally fine. The second night, I started to notice some pretty drastic effects. So I'm laying there, I have road rash in my arms, both my legs, and my butt. My foot was broken, so I had very limited mobility. Everything hurt. I had bruises. It felt like I just had fought Mike Tyson, so I was not in the greatest physical or mental state to be dealing with this stuff at the time. I started to have dreams, like really bad nightmares, and at first it was very easy to discern reality from dream. It was just, I kept waking up in a sweat, being like, oh, okay, that was a really bad dream, and I would acknowledge that and just go on, carry on, or go back to sleep or whatever. Issues began to arise when I began to not be able to tell the difference between reality, fiction, and dreams. Hi, can I get 2 breakfast burritos, one with ham, one with bacon? Can I get 2 breakfast burritos, one with bacon, one with ham? My phone just died, so I have to get home from this lovely taco place without directions in a state that I've only been to 3 times. I wanted to finish this video off the bike just so I can concentrate what I'm saying so you guys can actually understand everything. I generally consider myself to be like mentally strong. I don't like to take crap from people, which is why I think it's important to talk about this stuff, because a lot of people are probably listening to this video being like, oh, I could probably be better than, you know, the substance, but you can't. This video is very anti-drug here, if you can't tell. It's way stronger than you could ever imagine, so I just want you to understand it before getting into exactly what I'm talking about here. Anyway, the dreams started to get so vivid. I remember walking through a factory, like a toxic factory, and everything's touching me, and I felt like super grossed out, and I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. I remember having this very vivid dream of people kept walking into the room that I was in and shaking me awake and like screaming in my face wide-eyed. I had no idea what was going on, dude. It was terrifying. I remember there was a moment where I know this happened for real because I had a conversation with my dad about it, but my dad walked into the room to check on me and see how I was doing, and I just remember all I heard was like trains rushing by. I just heard like the rumbling of trains and the horns just screaming, and I'm like, Dad, are there trains outside? What's going on? And he's like, nope, no, there's no trains. Like, I don't know what's going on with you. It was just horrifying, dude, and I just remember as soon as I could bear the pain without any sort of substance, I threw the rest of that stuff in the trash, dude. I couldn't bear it. Not only were there immediate effects, there were some like offset effects from that little episode. I remember feeling after the accident like I was poison, I was toxic, like I'm going to be the reason that all my friends wreck in motorcycle accidents. Like, it's my fault that they ride, even though that they're their own individual people and ride motorcycles because they love them, much in the same way that I do. I was like, it was just something I kept repeating to myself. I'm like, they're gonna get hurt because of me. I have to, you know, go away, and like, I can't be here anymore because something's gonna happen to them, and I care about my friends a lot, and like, it's gonna be my fault. And I'm like, in reality, that's like not the case at all. Like, all of this are ramblings of someone who clearly was not well, but I was clearly also like under the influence of something I was prescribed and not happy about. So I know that addiction to it is an epidemic in this country. I don't understand the addiction to it whatsoever, dude. I threw that stuff in the trash as quickly as possible. I don't know if they put something in it to make it like anti-addictive to the point where like I don't want to ever take it ever again. I couldn't tell you on that one, but I can tell you this firsthand. I'm good, brother. I don't ever want to touch that stuff again. And it just feels like freaking weird, bro. Like, usually content creators are like, you think of them as like family friendly. Like, you come on YouTube to watch something cool, but like, here's the thing, bro. Like, I'm just a motorcycle rider, all right? Unfortunately, I'm not immune to injury or like problems. Jesus Christ, you know, like that. I don't know. Like, you watch somebody like Jigsaw, dude. Like, you would never imagine. Like, I would never imagine Jigsaw, at least before I met him, like ever going through something like this. But maybe he has. I don't know. He's never talked about it, or at least to my knowledge. But you look at these content creators like they're larger in life, and like, dude, it's so hard to talk about because it's like such a, like, mental things are so hard to explain. But motorcycle accidents freaking suck no matter which way you look at it, mentally and physically. Maybe the lesson for this is just like, hey, maybe ride a little bit safer. Wear your gear, even though, listen, I just came from the gym, all right? I've been getting better about wearing my gear, I promise. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you learned something, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I have to go ride home now without my phone. This is going to be a whole adventure within itself. But you know what? You don't have to film everything. I'm going to go enjoy my ride, so I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.